Okay, so can you see my screen? Now it should be full screen, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, perfect. So, okay, I'll try to be relatively brief, but you can interrupt me anytime if you have any question. I'll try to give you a bit, let's say, a real life kind of overview of what is like for this project, how you can profit from it, and so on. So, well, I'm a kind of a special case because I'm a founder of a company, but I'm also a professor at the university. And actually, the company doesn't produce anything or sell any product. What we do is we do research. So our own, let's say, main aim is publishing and doing science. So it's like we are in a kind of a special case because I'm interested in not really in developing product, but I'll try to highlight why, if you are a company that actually sells something, why you should be interested in such a project and so on. Okay. Okay, so basically what we do is we work like with, let's say, with universities or let's say research centers. And what we do is typically we bring quite advanced machine learning, let's say, know-how to projects, and we work with the infrastructure partners to solve, let's say, more advanced research questions, okay, to answer those. And we are interested in applying machine learning in many fields, from medicine to, let's say, to food technology and so on and so forth, okay. Basically what we do is we do deep learning statistics, machine learning in physics. We have worked with astrophysics. We work with in Italy with several astrophysics departments at the universities. We work in Switzerland with ATH and so on and so forth. Okay, so what is so first of all, if you have any questions or I can help you in any way, really like get in touch anytime. I'm happy to discuss with you or try to answer your question. So what is this project? Just to give you an idea about this project, I've participated in other projects of this kind, but this is a project that actually has the goal of actually create a digital twin framework for, let's say, to understand the effect of the components of milk on infants. To define, for example, specific diets and nutritional deficiency and so on and so forth, and try to see if it's possible by the chemical component of milk to try to understand what the effects are on children, and if, for example, by modifying the milk, we could actually help children in the growth and so on, okay? Actually, Galatea, I think that Manuel already said a bit, it's a relatively, let's say, large consortium. And there are 5 countries involved, Italy, Spain, 2 from Switzerland, actually also SUPSI, the university in Lugano, and Poland and Greece. Actually, I was last week, as I was telling Manuel, for the midterm meeting in Greece. The last week, I'll show you a couple of pictures, not of Greece, of the midterm meetings, unless you want to see pictures of Greece. So it's basically there are like different skills in the project, right? And basically when you participate in such a project, usually the consortium wants you because you bring something to the project, right? You bring something to, let's say, some skills, some know-how to the project. And what we bring is machine learning, but it could be, for example, like for example, Celex is a company, for example, that. Sorry for the drawing, I'm drawing with the mouse. So Celex is, for example, a company that works in bioreactors, but you have, for example, hospitals. You have also like a university that do chemical analysis. We have companies that do actually ICT infrastructure, just IT infrastructure. So the amount is not only like the company participating, they're not only like experts in, let's say, bioengineering or bioinformatics, but really like there are many things that make such a project interesting. Okay. Okay, so those are like the classical slides that we show, like what the objective is. So basically, in such a project, usually what you try to do is really you try to have an impact. That means the entire kind of pipeline to really like from the research part to designing of tools, it's actually important. This is why there are also companies that, for example, do IT infrastructure and so on. Okay. Yeah, so okay, so those are the classical good social media that you can check, but I'll skip it. So those are, for example, images of the midterm where every partner comes together. There are presentation about what has been on and so on. And it's actually it's a large consortium. We have lots of researchers, so there are like this kind of transfer of knowledge workshop where you actually learn a lot about what people have done, the kind of research, you met the partners, and you try to really also do some networking. And the social dinner, of course, was also an important part of it. But basically, what I would like to discuss briefly are those questions, because I remember Manuel knows, so I did such a presentation before, and those were kind of the most maybe interesting question, but feel free to interrupt me anytime. So what is the motivation to participate in a staff change proposal? Now, basically, I think that to be clear, I think that your main goal should not be something like, oh, we want to optimize a product, or we want to have some money to develop these other product. That's actually that's not the goal. Okay, your goal should be really to be able to your egoistical goal should be to be able to learn something new. To be able to actually go to some other company, some university, and bring home some skills that you might require for your future research, for your future product development, for your whatever you need to do. Okay, so if you decide to go in the direction, of bioreactors, and you want to understand better how bioreactors works, then you should go to Selex and spend a couple of months or 3 months or so there, and really let someone go there and learn how those things works if you want to for example to profit from that. Okay, now something that you should know, those things doesn't happen naturally. What I mean is that you can send someone 3 months somewhere, right, and he can come back, and unless you really follow the person, unless you really discuss with the partners, unless you really define very clear goals, what you want, let's say, this person to do or to learn, it can very, very easily happen that there's not much interaction there, because every company has other things to do, as you might know. So, for example, imagine someone comes to your offices and sit there, unless there is a clear and determined kind of intention of doing something with the person, that can happen that not much is done. So my suggestion is, if you participate in this project, really you should really plan every secondments with the person and with the company, with the hosting company, and discuss exactly what you want to do, what you want to learn, and so on and so forth. Okay. Now, the main benefits for participants is, of course, they learn new things. They see other environments, especially because, Manuel, I don't know if it's now, I think it's still it's still a rule that, for example, academic partners should go to industry and vice versa, but not you should. So let's say a company should not go to another company, and a university should not go to another university, right?
Yes, in some extent, if it's interdisciplinary, yes. So if the two companies are dealing with two different topics, yes.
Okay, so but usually, so the main idea is that you should profit, for example, from really learning something new from research, for example, at the university, or something that you want for your own company. Okay. On another note, I think what you should also, I'm a bit naive in this sense, but I really believe that participating in the project brings a certain responsibility, in the sense that I think that a company should also be ready to actually teach students, for example, or young people, how the world of industry is working, what it means to work in industry. So when you get people, it's not something that you have to invest time in that. You have to invest some effort in really like following the people that comes to you, and you have also to invest time to follow your people that go somewhere else. So you cannot send someone 3 months away and say, okay, I'll see you in 3 months, but you really should have regular meetings with the partner, check what's going on, maybe even go and visit them and so on. Okay. Okay, so that's something to be said. What is important to be aware when drafting the proposal? Again, you should really think about what you want to learn and what you bring to the consortium. Usually it works this way. There are like, if you have like 10, 15 partners, usually there is one driving partners that writes the proposal and the others kind of contributes, right? But you should really think about, okay, what do I bring and what I would like to do. So are there other partners, for example, interesting for me? Do I want to visit them and so on? Okay. Challenges. Well, challenges is, I think the main challenge is that many companies are not really, let's say, do not realize that if you send someone 6 months away, this person is not working for you for 6 months. Okay, so that means that it's not like, oh, we get some money and we can do the same work as before. Okay, so that means that it's really the money that you get is really for you to kind of use the chance to learn something new for your company. Okay, but that doesn't mean that it's completely like free money that you can use whenever you want. So this is money that you should actually use for that. Okay, so because I've seen it by a few companies, right, that somehow they realize, oh, but we cannot send anyone because we don't have the time to send anyone, right? Because we have to do that and that and that, and we have other priorities, right? And they realize it, let's say, only after the project is started, they get a certain amount of months, and suddenly, right, you realize they don't do any secondments, and they cannot do any secondments, and it's becoming really, really hard. So the challenge that you should be aware of is that is an incredibly enriching kind of project setup, and you get lots of networking. I'm still working. I've done such a project many years ago, and I'm still working with the partners on papers, on projects. So it's really useful, but you have to be aware that you have to invest the time. Okay. Practical issues again. So really plan in advance the secondments and what you and think about who should go there. Okay, and talk with the people in advance. Okay, because also the people doesn't realize like 3 months, it means 3 months living there. So it means, I mean, it could be fun, but it's still something that, for example, if someone has a family, it could be difficult. So you have to also consider that. Why would you also join in the future? So I think that the main reason for joining is the networking. It's incredibly good, and you get really the chance of working on very interesting project and learning really like working in an interdisciplinary way. So you work really with other company universities that do things that are on the topic, but they are really like they are the things that you usually don't do. So that's very enriching in that sense. So that was very quick. I don't know if I was too slow. Maybe Marcus or Manuel is maybe, or I just thought that this is a very quick overview. I think that we have also another testimonial. I think they need some time to present. So I'm here for questions. I don't know if there are like any questions now. Otherwise, I'm here also for the question and answer later.
Okay, thank you.